What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Zach. Listen to me, and listen to me really good, because I know a lot need to hear this. You are worth so much more than you may realize. And I get it, 100% get it. We all go through something. Meaning, some of us, yes, go through a hell of a lot more than others. You know, some of us, might not have had a good past up until where we are right now. So I get it. 100% get it. But you are worth so much more than what somebody might make you think, or what your past has made you think. I promise you that. You are worth a hell of a lot more than what you might realize. And I need you to realize that. Realize that up here in your mind. Because you are worth a hell of a lot more than what you might realize. And I get it. Again, I get it. There's so many people out there who go through judgment, who get bullied, get picked on, and just talked down on. Is probably the best way to say it. But let me tell you something. Those people that you're judging, are 100% human, but also have a 100% different and also 100% true story, just like you. So always keep that in mind. Let me put it this way to you. Take somebody that has a walker. Now, you might look at that person that's walking with a walker, and it may look different to you, right? It may look a lot different to you. But let me say it this way. In your mind, look at that person with the walker, and in your mind, try to envision that person as just the person and not with the person with the walker. Okay, you take that walker away, what do you have? You have a 100% human with a 100% different, 100% true story about them. Also, like I said, take that walker away, and what are you left with? 100% human. Just the same as everybody else. The same thing goes with crutches. You see you look around, you see somebody walking around with crutches. Take those crutches away from that person. In your mind, that is. Don't physically do that. But what I'm saying is, in your mind, take that wheelchair, take that walker, or take those crutches away from that person, and look at what you're left with. Let me ask you this: what are you left with? I'll answer it for you. You're left with a 100% human being, and that human being has a 100% different and also 100% true story about them. Now, again, you may not understand that story about them, and that's 100% understandable. But at the same time, remember, there's questions that can be asked. Like I said, what questions? That's on you. And I mean that, I say that because, you know, everybody has different questions, you know. When we all don't have the same questions. Everybody's got something different to ask, you know. And it's, I mean, yeah, it sucks having a disability. Don't get me wrong. You know, for me, like I said, I was born with spina bifida. Mine is level 1, which is just affects my balance, and that's all. You know, it sucks having the wheelchair. It sucks not being able, to walk, get up and, just run everywhere, Um, and it really sucks, you know. With the wheelchair, yes, you have your limits, I guess is the best way to say that. In other words, you know, what somebody has to do or what somebody can do running, guess what? You got to do it from the wheelchair. So, in other words, take somebody that runs track, at a high school, Now, a person who can run track, is running, on their feet, right? And a person might be able to run a mile around that track in 10 minutes. Whereas the person that's in a wheelchair or on a walker or even crutches or even a walking cane can also do that mile. But for them, for all of it, for us, I'll say it that way, because I've got the wheelchair too. But for us, it's gonna take when it might take you, a person walking, it might take you 20 minutes, maybe it runs the mile. For us, as far as everyone that's sitting down, or maybe you're with the walker or crutches, it might take you 30 minutes. It might take you an hour. And I'm not saying that not to be judgmental, because it can still be done. It might take you a lot longer than it does just the person who gets up and just hightails it, around the track, running around the track, on their feet. They might get done with, they might be able to run the mile in 10 minutes easy. But, it might take you, like I say, a person with a walker or crutches or even a walking cane. It's gonna take you a lot longer. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. That's more than okay. Keep being you. And let nothing or no one hold you back. A person with a disability, again, a disability in my eyes, it's just a name, okay? That's just a name someone's given. That's how I see it. You know, and I said it like that because I try to see the positive side. And that's why I tell you that too. Is I try to make it to where everybody, can see the positive side of things. You hear somebody that has, some, disability, you think, wow, that's scary. But look at it this way again. Look at a person just as a person of who they are. Because behind a person's disability is a 100% human, the 100% different, but also 100% true story about them. And one of the reasons, again, that one of the reasons why I kept on this YouTube, when I did for a while, for a while I was showing my workouts. Of course, then I had things had to change, which is understandable. But at the same time, I was having so many people was saying, you really help me, you inspire me, and that's what I love doing. I love to motivate, inspire, and try to help as many people through anything that you go through or have been through. Again, whatever you go through, and you tell me about that, if there might be situations that I've never been through. In fact, I know there's a lot of things that I've never been through. Now, what all those are, I couldn't name all of them. But again, there's things I haven't been through, but there's things that I have been through. And when I haven't been through it, maybe you give me a situation and I haven't been through that situation, I'll still try to put that situation in my mind and think, okay, here's the situation that you're going through. Here's how you see your situation. How would I get through that situation if I was the one going through that situation? And then come back and give you my advice and say, okay, this is what I've come up, this is what I've come up with. This is what I've come up with, and this is how I would get through your situation or situations. So, with that said, always keep that in mind. Again, I want to make sure that each and every one of y'all know that, yes, I am trying to make this into a working, paying job. I'm still in that process. I would love to see that happen. Because again, this is what I love doing. I love being able to, to help people. That's how I was born and raised. And that's how I'm always going to be. Sometimes it might take me, a day or two to, try to, put things together on my, in my mind for me. And that's why I ask you what you would like to hear. Which, when you tell me what you would like to hear, that'll, give me some ideas, or I can, think, okay, this is what this person's going through, or what that person's going through, or what they've been through. Well, I've been through those situations. Okay, I'll be able to put that together. So that's why I ask you, what you would like to hear. You know, uh, you know, when I ask you that, that also, in other words, gives me an idea or ideas of how, of what I could talk about for you. That would help benefit you and help you in any way that I can. Because again, that's how I was born and raised. And that's how I'm always going to be. And, I get it 100%. People with disabilities, like people with wheelchairs or people with walkers or walking canes or anything of that nature, yes, we do go through a lot of rough situations. We have our breakdowns. There's no ifs and buts about it. We all have our breakdowns. I mean, everybody does. But just like me, one of the things I've always had, that I've always had, that's always got to me a lot is like the judgment, and that happens to everybody. I mean, everybody goes through that kind of judgment more than I can put into words. But as someone that's, I guess this, someone that's sitting down, it's different. It's just like we see those things, those situations differently. And it gets you. It gets to you more than what a lot of people understand. Now, again, same thing with dating a relationship. Happens to everybody that everybody goes through heartbreak. Now, you see somebody that's, again, a walker on crutches, walking with crutches, or walking with a walking cane, or that's sitting in a wheelchair. We deal with those same things that people walking deal with. But at the same time, as someone, I'll say it this way, as someone that's sitting down, and I try to speak for everybody that's maybe going through the same thing. As someone that's sitting down, we see things a lot different. Okay. Um, you know, just like, you know, I've got more than I can tell you or explain. Yeah, I've got called names. I've got laughed at. I've got laughed at for my, because of my weight. Um, which, some of that, yes, comes with, sitting down and you're not able to, just get up and go run everywhere, on your own feet. You can't just get up on your own feet and go run. You have your you have your moments. I'll put it that way. It's just like, again, as far as like dating and relationships. I'm 36. I'll be 37 on the 15th, October 15th. And because I'm sitting down, I've always had trouble with that. Now, again, I'm not saying every female is judgmental, because there is good people out there. I know that for a fact. But as someone that's sitting down, I see things a lot different. As far as the dating and relationship goes, as far as that goes, as someone sitting down, you see things like that different because, you know, you know, for me at least, I know I dealt with a lot of judgment because of sitting down. Shoot, I got called fake once, and again, I heard it, and I was able to, to call that person out on it. But like I said, as I did mental health check-in yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Um, you know, no matter a person's disability, no matter what that disability is, a person's mental health is just the same as everyone else's, whether you're sitting in a wheelchair, you're walking with a walker, walking with crutches, or walking with a walking cane. And heck, maybe you're also with maybe you got braces. I can't think of the word for a minute. That's why I pause for a second. Maybe you've got braces, which I do have braces. I don't have them on right now. I usually wear those when I go like to the gym, which, as you know, has been a while. Because I'm still trying to get my elbow back to 100%. That's not good. It's been excruciating. So, with that said, again, yeah, you're gonna have setbacks. Sometimes huge setbacks, but you'll make that comeback sooner or later. And like I said, the best thing I can tell you to do, and I hope that you really take this advice, and that is to keep being you. Let nothing or no one hold you back. Yeah, people are going to try. A lot of people will try to hold you back. You know, no matter what. Because some people don't want to see you do as well as them. And I get it. 100%. Some people are, that's what I'm looking for. You know, some people are real protective. But again, guess what? We're just like everybody else. Just some things we have to do that, you know, we go about different. Like I said, as far as driving, when I can, you know, be able to get in my truck again, which has been a while. You know, I use hand controls. But like I said, keep being you. And let nothing or no one hold you back. But again, I am making this a working paying job because I love to help people. I've always loved to help people. No matter what that situation is or situations is. Give you another situation, which I know I've said this before. It's been a while. And this was before I messed up my elbow. This is before my elbow got messed up. When I fell. I guess this was all before that. I was getting gas. I was driving, and I stopped at one of our local gas stations to get gas, and as soon as I park, you know, pull up to the gas pump, and I get my wheelchair out, and there was a gentleman to the pump that was right beside me, you know, across from me, and said, "Man, you handle that thing like a pro," you know, and told me his story of, you know, he had a walker and told me, you know, his background. And one of those people that just needed somebody to talk to, you know. And you know what? I was there. And I was able to be that person. And you know what? That's also what you need to remember to this. Again, if somebody, let's say, brings up something to you, whatever that situation may be, to you, it may not be a big deal. Because you've done that. You've been through that for however long it's been. But to that person that brings it up, yeah, it's a huge, huge deal. Because, again, we'll use dating as a scenario here. You know, many people have been through that, you know. So many people are married now. You know, to them, it may not be it's not it might not be that big a deal. And I say that because they've been through that. They've done, the whole 9 yards in dating and that relationship. But to you, it's a huge deal. Because look at the hell that you went through for a certain amount of time. Because so many people were judgmental. And yet, even though you dealt with those judgmental people, you still know that there's good people out there. And that's what I'm trying to say to you is this. If someone brings something up, talks about something, always remember, if someone brings something up and talks about it, remember, it's a big deal to them. Maybe that's something that they've never been through, or, that's something that they've always wished for. And maybe it's, that same situation you've been through, maybe that situation to you is old news, put it that way. But, to somebody else, that's talking about it, it's still brand new. Why do I say it like that? Because so many people go through so much hell that it's not. Nobody should have to go through that. So keep being you and let nothing or no one hold you back. I'm proud of you. I love you. And I cannot say thank you enough to each and every one of you for all the comments, the likes, the shares, all of the 664 subscribers now. Yes, we went down a little bit. But still, I cannot say thank you enough for everyone that has been there for me through hell and back since day one. You've been there, I can't say thank you enough. Meaning the people, it's everybody that's been here since day one. Thank you for rocking with me every step. You're amazing. Keep being you. Gotta say much love. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. It's more over. For me. It's on my right side, but it might be on your left. Please hit that subscribe button, and I would definitely appreciate it. And also, if you hit that subscribe button, and you comment, I will, 1, reply to your comment, and 2, I'm gonna subscribe to your YouTube channel if I'm not already subscribed to you. And the same goes if you just subscribe. Maybe you subscribe and you don't comment. I'm still going to subscribe to you if I'm not already subscribed to your YouTube channel. So keep going. Keep being you. Much love. I appreciate y'all. Again, my name is Zach, and I appreciate y'all. Keep being you. And let's get it.